What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing?
Well, we done went back digging in the crates again and pulled out an oldie but goodie, one of the original buddy cop films. Alex, this was your pick, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce it.
We are talking about 48 Hours. The original 48 Hours. It opened December 8th, 1982. And actually it was Eddie Murphy's first film. So this is his acting debut. The budget of it was budget off of 12 million. It actually made 78 million total. The director was Walter Hill, and producer was Lawrence Gordon. And music, I wanted to bring this part up. Music was James Horner. And James
Yes,
Horner, we
sir.
know James Horner from Commando and
Oh yeah.
and all the
And this
other
movie
films that we
sounds
talked about.
Commando sounds a lot like this movie.
Yeah,
You
when
can
I
you can
when I
tell
was
it's James
listening
Horner
to it,
without knowing.
yep. And I thought of you. I was like, "Damn, Steve, this is the same dude." So yeah, same soundtrack, same feel, and it really added to the film too, man. It just made
Yeah.
it feel a little bit more gritty. You get that San Francisco urban
Yeah.
type feel to it. It was really well done.
Right.
Film we got Nick Nolte. He plays Detective Jack Cates. We got it. Of course, we got Eddie Murphy. And we've got the villain played by James Reamer. You know James. Well, I know James from that one film I was telling you about, Tales from the Crypt, where he played
Oh yeah.
opposite Ray Dong Chong,
Ray
and
Don
they were
Chong.
doing like the gargoyle thing. That's why I
Yeah.
really remember him from. But he's done
Yeah.
tons
He
of
was in
others.
the
Like he did like
Warriors.
Warriors. He did Blade Trinity, Too Fast, Too Furious. I mean, he's got his filmography just keeps going and
It's
going.
it's
So
too long. It's too long to go more than five films deep. Like, yeah, his IMDb is crazy.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But Nick Nolte's been around a long time too, man. He played Bruce Banner's father in the original Hulk film. Played in Cape Fear, Under Fire. He was in The Deep.
Hmm.
Nick's been around for a long time. And I tell you, Nick, I compare Nick to Tom Atkins any day, man. He's just like that really good actor
Right.
that's got when he needs to get gruff, he can do it with no problem. So really, always does
Right.
a great job on that film, especially like cop film stuff. But it's funny because he was reluctant to take this role, man. He didn't want to be a cop,
Right.
and he actually, I think the director might have talked him into it because he always saw himself as kind of like, not saying that he's like a bad guy, but kind of saw himself like as a rebel and not wanting to
Hmm.
be like a cop or whatnot. But when he did his research, he actually went and talked to some California police officers and stuff and did a little bit of research before the role and decided to take it. I guess talking to those guys kind of made him see kind of like the other side of the shield, so to speak. So he said, yeah, I'll do it. And did a great job, playing
Yeah.
Jack Cates. So,
Playing
you
an
see,
asshole. Did he research with some assholes? Did he do that too?
you know, that's what I'm saying because yeah, in the beginning he was a fucking dick, man.
Yeah.
You can't describe it in any
Yeah.
other words. He really was on Eddie's ass for about most of the film, all the way up till like
Most of
toward
it.
the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Toward the end, he started softening up, but before that, he was just in his ass, and I was like, "Damn,
Oh
bro,
yeah.
you freaking
Yeah. We're gonna get into
asshole."
that. We're gonna
Yeah,
get into that.
yeah, yeah. They picked his girlfriend. What's her name? Elaine. She's played by Annette O'Toole. I think I pronounced her right. And she played
Yeah.
Lana Lang, and that's where I remember from Lana Lang from Superman
Superman.
3 with Richard Pryor, and that's the only
Yeah.
role I really remember her in. But she
Yeah. I
played a
remember her in several, but yeah, you're right. Like prominently, yeah.
yeah. You see her, Lana Lang,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, she played a really good girlfriend for him, man. I mean, he
Right.
was just like fucking up through the entire film, man. And again, it was like the counter of the shit that he was giving Eddie's character. She was giving she was
Yeah.
pretty much giving him,
Yeah.
making him play catch up because he was getting up in a relationship. So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a good trade off there too. And we got your boy Sonny Landon came back again. This guy, man,
Yeah.
these guys, they must be on the same bus with these films, man.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
going, all right, I'm going with you. I'll be right on screen with you.
yeah.
All these guys follow each other,
There's a
man.
lot, bro. There's a lot of connections in this movie with like other movies that we've talked about and seen. You know, like I said, Sonny Landham, and the connection to, of course, he was in Predator, but
Yeah, yeah.
you got to remember, like, James Horner did the score for this movie. He also did it
Uh-huh.
for, Commando. Then
Commander,
there's
right?
I mean, I could go all day, but there's a ton of like little connections you can make with different actors and stuff in this movie. It's
Yeah.
kind of insane.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this was again another reunion film almost because we had a lot of people. You had what's the boy's name? The guy that played Luther, David Kelly. You know, again he
Right.
played what you call in the Commando. He's
Yep.
back again playing
Sully.
another ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Sully. Yeah. Now his name was Luther in this one. So again, he's
Yeah.
just playing, and it's crazy how they've got so much material from these other films. They can just pretty much take that persona from one character and
Yeah.
just add it to the new role and just keep going, man. So he did a
Yeah.
great job. You know, again, these guys, these guys that play these villain or these scruffy characters, man, they were eating it up in the '80s, man. They were just eating it up,
Hell
man.
yeah.
And I guess there, there's a conversation to be had about what do you call it, being like categorized in like a
Oh,
role.
typecast.
Like you have to,
Yeah.
yeah, typecast. You got to be stuck as a villain, But I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out, they talk about it sometimes like it's a negative thing. But these guys that play these bad guys, man, especially from our era, man, these motherfuckers are on point, man. Like
Yeah.
typecast me, man. You got to pay me.
Yeah. Because I'm working.
I'm
I'm
coming
working
with the
all the time.
bad guy. I'm the
Right.
bad guy, so pay me. Yeah, you want this
Right.
guy in your film to look that bad. Hey, you know who I am already. That's my
Right. That
resume.
dude.
Some other films.
That James Reamer, man, who
Yeah,
plays the main
yeah.
bad guy, Gates. He's played good guys and bad guys, but when you see him, you especially back in the '80s and '90s, you saw his face, you automatically like, I don't trust him. He's probably a bad guy.
Villains. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know, man, but I just, for me, I don't see that being a bad thing. But I
Yeah.
guess it's a conversation to be had. So, um, I wanted to bring up the young lady that played Candy. Was Olivia Brown. Olivia Brown was Detective Trudy on Miami Vice. I mean, she was on there from '84 all the way up to '89, man. And again, this is another one of my '80s crushes, man. She's just absolutely wonderful, man. Wonderful. I watch anything she doing, man. Any film she in, she got her IMDb is huge, man. But yeah, she's again just a great actress. Great actress, always gives it 100%, and she's always, you always remember her from other films as well. So great actress, great actress. So,
Hey, we can't forget about
but
Frank McCrae.
oh man,
Hey,
the one
huh?
that started the whole
You
asshole
know
chief
what?
of the police
I don't
force.
know. I don't know, man. I was thinking that. I was because he's played that role several times.
Just cause you say it with conviction, it don't mean shit to me.
He was in Last Action Hero. He was in Loaded Weapon. I don't know if you've ever seen Loaded Weapon 1. He's played like, the loud uh, asshole chief or lieutenant or whatever. And he used to be a football player. He's a big guy, and
Yeah,
but he
intimidation.
also had like that kind of that comedic side of him. You know what I'm saying? He was in The Wizard. He was in Batteries Not Included. This dude's been all over the place, man.
I forgot about batteries not included. Yeah, I thought about that, man, because I was just like, yeah, this guy here, man, they must have used the template for him to go and do the guy for Beverly
Right,
Hills Cop, because he was
right.
just, fuck you, convict. I was like, damn, bro, you are like that? It was straight up, I died laughing, man.
Don't you think you're being kind of hard on the guy?
You go fuck yourself, convict!
Man. But yeah, this had to be the template right here to use for the rest of
Yeah,
the film. If you think about, an '80s cop film, a buddy cop film, this is it right here, man. I've
yeah,
always, I mean, a lot of people you want to put comparison between this and Beverly Hills Cop, but I think that this right here was was a little bit, it was a little bit more of a rougher film, I think, and it didn't
right.
have like Eddie's jokes to be like the spotlight of everything. It actually was a serious film. that just had like some comedic parts. But overall, this could come off as an action film, man. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
there's a lot of gunplay in it. A
yeah,
lot of action scenes. I thought was just pretty much it came off like an action film with comedic parts. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. In good action movie fashion, though, it a good action movie starts out with some kind of setup, some kind of action scene setup,
Mm,
and this movie has like that perfect little setup with Sonny Landham, flying in his little old pickup truck, and this is gonna get me into another subject, but anyway, he
mhm.
gets there and to the chain gang and helps Gates break out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But what this sets up is that this movie, if you're sensitive to racial slurs,
Hold on, please, sir.
Maybe you should have stole a better truck, Tonto.
Ooh, yeah.
this is not the movie for you.
Trigger
Like I
warning, man.
think this, right? I think this shit was rough in '82. Like
Yeah.
it starts out with them, using some disparaging language to Sonny Landham because he's Indian, and
Right.
and that's what it was. Of course, it was all set up. Sonny Landham was actually working with Gates, and he gets into a fight with him on a chain gang. Gates gets a gun from him, and they kill the guards and escape.
Yep.
But it starts out with just like back to back racial slurs against
Yeah.
Sonny Landham, and that's right at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Yeah,
It give you a plate of what's to come.
right. Yeah,
Plate of full
it
of
gave you
what's to come.
right. It gave you some of the action that's to come, and it gave you some of the shit you're gonna hear later
Yeah.
because they don't
Yeah.
shy
I
away
think.
from it in the least.
Oh no, man. This film here, I think would be like right in the red, man. If it was like redone and they kept everything and they played in the
Right,
theaters today, I think that it would be right in the red, man. Like they would be like,
right. But
they
you
had
couldn't.
some, yeah,
It couldn't be set. It couldn't be set today. This movie. It would have to be set like in the '70s or '80s for that to even make sense.
right.
Because
Because yeah,
if it was today, like nah, they ain't doing all that. Like
yeah.
some of the stuff Nick Nolte was saying to Eddie Murphy, like bro, that ain't flying.
Woo!
That ain't flying. Not in that bit.
From the beginning, I mean, from the time
Right.
he handcuffed him and the way he was manhandling him and shit, I was like,
Yeah.
come on, bro, this shit right
And
here, man.
yeah, the job we both did.
Yeah.
That you're not getting away with that for so much.
Nah, nah,
You know.
definitely not.
Yeah.
No, I laugh at the thought of that. Nah, bro, it ain't gonna
Right.
happen.
Yeah. And speaking of like
Definite trigger
broken
warning for
procedures,
folks. If
right?
oh yeah,
Speaking of broken procedures, like if you want to dig into the plot of this movie, like you're almost wasting your time because from just the plot standpoint, we talked about this off camera, but the plot itself doesn't do a lot to explain the motivations of almost anybody involved. Really, like the bad guys,
yeah,
it doesn't really explain much about them. It doesn't really explain what Eddie Murphy's beef is or what his role is. Like the stuff is like briefly mentioned. Nick
right,
Nolte kind of has a beef, but Nick Nolte's beef it was his own fault, and that's what I want to get into real quick. Is that the shootout, the second shootout that happens, because actually when Sonny Landham and Gates escape, they kind of go on like a little spree, and they kill a guy, steal his credit card, and they're making phone calls trying to get hookers and stuff. There's a couple of cops in Nick Nolte's department get a tip that the stolen credit card was used at this hotel.
hmm
They go, Nick Nolte's character is there too. He's watching the desk. They go upstairs and there's a shootout. One of them gets killed. They take one of the girls hostage, go downstairs. There's continue to shoot out Nick Nolte.
hmm
The other cop comes down. He's injured. And now it's like a standoff.
yeah,
Sonny Landham's got the girl. And then, what's the other guy? Gates, he's there. And he's telling Nick Nolte, drop the gun and we'll kill the girl. The injured
hmm
cop's like, man, don't do it. Don't give it to him.
yeah,
And I'm sitting here, bro, watching, like, from a law enforcement mind. I'm like, bro, you better not give him this gun.
yeah. Because you already know what's gonna happen. Yeah,
Like, that's not a risk that you would take. neither one of us were police officers, but
Nah.
we did enough law enforcement stuff to know that, yeah, that was a dumb move.
Yeah, you don't give the
And
bad guys all the cards, man. You don't do that.
right, like
Yeah.
literally all the cars.
Yeah.
His partner didn't have any more ammo. He came around there clicking, click, 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 click. So y'all was stuck. He gives him the gun, and of course, the first thing the bad guy does, he shoots the other guy, shoots the other cop,
Yeah.
kills him. Nick Nolte's got to dive over a desk, and then they get away. And the next thing you see, like they're at he's at the police department. Of course, the two cops are dead. All the other cops are like giving him shit about what happened and stuff. And all you hear is that, like, you say you lost your weapon. I'm like, okay, he didn't lose his weapon.
Yeah.
He gave
No,
his
he
shit up.
gave it away, and that's why the other guy died. Yep. I guess he didn't want to give up that information.
Right. But is that something that's supposed to make us like him from the beginning of the movie?
Nah,
You know
that
what I'm
wasn't
saying?
ethical at all. That wasn't ethical at all, man. We already know that. Trash.
Right.
Because of your actions, you can cause
Right.
someone to die.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's like, yeah, I'll do the paperwork, and I'm mad. Two cops are dead, bro. Like, one of them is directly your fault.
That's blood on your hands, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
The one upstairs had nothing to do with it. But right. So I'm like, did the director intend for us to not like Nick Nolte? Because he literally does not say anything likable till like 2/3 of the way into the movie. He
Right.
doesn't really say or do anything likable, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are we supposed to be rooting for him? Because he seems like he could be one of the bad guys. Like, he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, it would solidified his scumbagness.
Right.
Put a nail in that shit. Scumbag. Yeah.
Right. Right. This dude should be like kicked off the force and some more shit. And sued by the other cop's family, all that.
Credits.
Right.
Ain't no movie. Credits.
First 15 minutes, credits. Movie's over. Like, he breaks all kind of procedures. So we got to talk about Eddie Murphy. So, like, going forward in the plot, he figures out that these two convicts basically have some partners out in the streets, and he says he's looking at the files like, oh, one of them's still locked up. I'm gonna go talk to him. That's Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
And
Yeah.
right, and we get that scene with Eddie Murphy sitting in the cell singing Roxanne.
Classic.
With the Walkman. Right, classic scene. Classic Eddie Murphy. And this is where, like, I guess in the early 80s, and you tell me what you think about this. I guess in the early 80s, people didn't know, unless they were, like, involved in law enforcement, then they didn't know what was legal and what wasn't, and what skirted the line. And what I mean by that is, like,
Right.
you don't get to go to a prison and pull an inmate out.
Nah,
Just
not
a cop. No. Like, the premise of this
That's
movie
some back
does
in the
not
day
make
shit.
sense. Right.
No.
Right. You need an entire court order for some shit like that.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't happen because they're not letting you take a convict on some police mission. It's not happening.
No.
And that's where, like, you have to kind of say, okay, well, I'm gonna stop paying attention to what's going on and just have a good time watching this movie.
Hollywood. Yeah, there you go.
Because right. But anyway, I'm sorry. What do you think about, like, the way this is set up?
Yeah, it definitely steps into the realms of fantasy real quick, especially what we know. And again, I'm thinking to myself, like, well, maybe things were just like that back in the day. I don't know. I don't know anything about taking somebody out for 48 hours. Never heard of it. So unless it's the feds doing some stuff, and it ain't still, you ain't getting out like that unless you got like 20 guys on you. You know what I'm saying? Watching you at all times. So again, it just steps into the realm of fantasy because they've got to have a movie, and without Eddie getting out, there won't be no movie. So that's where that comes in at. But yeah, it steps into fantasy big time. Yeah.
Right. Because they gave him 48 hours, which, of course, like you said, it wouldn't be a movie. It wouldn't be called 48 Hours unless
Yeah,
there was a
without that.
time limit, unless there was an expiration date. So he's got 48 hours to bring Eddie Murphy back, who has 6 months remaining. And it, from the beginning, like when he's basically telling Eddie what the plan is, to get him out, or to get help from him. Eddie's like, well, you got to get me out of here. He's like, no deal or whatever. So he starts walking away. Eddie Murphy only had like 6 months left. So like he could have just waited.
Yeah.
I guess he was concerned about the whole money thing, but they didn't really say anything about the money at that point.
Nah.
Like Eddie didn't mention nothing about it.
Right. And the secret really, if you think about it, the secret really would have been safe still if he just said, fuck him, and just stayed in there.
Yeah.
Got his money and went on about his life.
Right.
I
mean, I guess they was going to threaten, what was the dude? I keep wanting to call him Sully. Luther, yeah. They threatened him, kidnap his girl because he knew where the money was. But, anyway, like Nick Nolte don't know that. So what I'm saying is like the premise of Eddie Murphy just so quickly agreeing, I guess in retrospect, you look back like, okay, maybe he was just concerned about his money. Okay, all right.
Right.
Okay.
I guess if you think about it, if Gaines had pressed Luther like that, then maybe the money would have been at risk. Because if Luther knew where the cash was, then by the time Eddie would have got out, his car and everything would have been gone. So
Yeah.
I guess it would have been. I guess there was a press there. So
the one other like unrealistic thing about how Eddie gets out, and I know I keep like griping on stuff in this movie. I actually really enjoyed this movie. It's really good, but it's like Eddie's in the cell block. First of all, he's in the cell block talking to a police officer. We already know that's not happening.
Nah,
not unless he's just
you gotta
really
come out.
Yeah,
you gotta come out.
Yeah.
Come out.
And
Go
there
to
better be
book.
a cheeseburger. There better be a cheeseburger out there or something.
Yeah, right.
You know you done fucked up, right? Like, look. So he out there talking to him, and the first thing he says is like, "Man, I wouldn't rat on my friends and whatever." I'm like, okay, all right, now take your ass back in the cell and lead us. Don't talk to this dude out here in front of all these inmates. Nope. They keep talking, and then he agrees to help him in front of everybody. Like, bro, you got to come back in 2 days. What are you talking about? Like, that was like, oh my God. For somebody that's so street smart, that was dumb.
Hollywood.
Movie got to happen, as we always say.
Movie got to happen. Absolutely.
Man, from there he gets Eddie out with some BS paperwork that he made, and that's another procedural thing that just all right, whatever. Wave your hand.
Forgery.
Nothing to see here. Yeah. Gets Eddie out, and like you said, man, like from the beginning, man, he's just digging in Eddie's ass constantly. Just constantly. Racial slurs and epithets and like damn, man. He was calling him watermelon. Called him a nigga. Called him charcoal skin. Like, damn, Nick.
Hardcore.
Damn.
Hardcore.
Bruh, like I know it's 82, but damn, that shit was still cool like that. Like in San Francisco? Maybe, I don't know. I ain't never lived there.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, a lot. We did have a lot of things during like the 80s that kind of like happened in films that again would be like just a no-go nowadays. So you figure it's early 80s too. So yeah, I mean it's right on time with with the what do you call it, with the what's allowed back then. So that's why it went and I guess Eddie going into it, I from reading the script and stuff, he knew what was going to happen. He knew what he was getting into. And again, from Nick's side, he's like, okay, let's do this. So
Right.
Eddie did a great job. I think, overall, even though like in the beginning it was a really like a rough edge to their relationship, it started to, the relationship did start to form, even though it was a little rocky in the beginning. So by the middle of the film and maybe a little bit past the middle, it really started to get better and solidify. And I think the turning point for Nick's character, Cates, was when he went after Billy and Gaines, and then Reggie went after the money he tracked Luther all the way to that hotel area, and
Yeah,
then he hung out at the I guess that Romans, that's the name of the club that he was
yeah,
hanging out at, and just called Nick from there. Where like I said, Nick's character was like, "Hey man, why didn't you just get the money and go?" He could have did
yeah,
all of that stuff, but he didn't because he wanted to take down Gaines just as much as Nick's character, which I thought was really cool,
right,
and that's when you saw that the change happen. Like he's like, this motherfucker
yeah,
just jetted, took the money and just
yeah,
left. But he calling me from the freaking payphone. What the hell's going on here? This ain't no
yeah,
convict I know about. So I
yeah.
thought that
And
was kind of like
he gave him that half-ass apology in the bar.
Thanks for calling. Nigger and watermelon, I didn't mean that stuff. Just doing my job, keeping you down.
You know, I didn't mean that shit, man. Like, bro, just say you sorry, man.
but he stayed true to the character. He stayed true to the asshole character
Right.
that he had, and it was perfect to
Yeah.
me. All this and and I was like, yeah, bro, yeah, we know, all right, man. Just cut the shit. But it was
Right.
perfect. That was perfect, man. Stayed true to
Yeah.
character. So
Yeah. And he didn't want Eddie piecing him up again out there in the street because Eddie was piecing him up.
that was a hell of a
He
fight,
was
man.
hitting him with combos.
That was a hell of a fight. You got to give it to him.
Yeah.
If that was, because I don't even know who the heck did the stunts. I think I wanted to write it down because I was going through the Internet Movie Database, but it wasn't our boy Bob Miner, but it was somebody
Right,
that
yeah.
it was another black stuntman that I didn't write down. But yeah, that choreographing for that whole entire fight there with them was good. It was real good. It kind of gave, like, after the fight, it kind of made Kate's Jack's character, and Jack step up and go, I got to give this man a little bit of respect because he was whipping my
Yeah,
ass.
yeah.
He was in my ass a little bit. So
Yeah. Shit. Digging in your shit. Like you said, he helped Jack track down,
yeah,
what was
Luther,
his name?
Luther,
Luther. Good
Luther.
gracious.
Yeah,
Helped him track down Luther because they knew if they tracked down Luther, they'd get Gates and Sonny Landham's character.
right.
And sure enough, now I got to mention that Eddie Murphy had said on several occasions that, look, man, I've been locked up for 3 years. I just got to get some butt, basically.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Try to get some
I'm gonna help you
trim.
with such and
Yeah,
such. Yeah, I'm gonna help you with this, but look, man, I got to be able to get some trim, man. I've been locked up for a while. He said a breeze will get him hard. So bro was ready. I think
Yep.
if the wrong dude walked by, he was gonna have to get that too. Like, yeah, he was ready.
Yeah,
So
that was yeah.
when he was about to get it, he was about to get him some, and it was crazy. The girl, he must have some good game because the girl was like, "You ain't even got no money to get the hotel room." He was still about to get it.
I don't have no money. Do you have any money on you?
You mean to tell me that you can't even pay for the room?
And here come Nick Nolte. Here come Nick Nolte blocking.
Fucking it up.
But he actually, when he went back outside, he was about to take the girl across the street anyway. He got some money from Nick Nolte after he apologized. He sees Luther coming out the hotel. They thought he was gonna come out too early in the morning, but he came out that night. So he had to take the girl back in the club, get Nick Nolte, and go on a chase. And that's when they have that chase on the bus. Luther has the money. He brings it onto the bus. After the subway shootout, where they were supposed to be exchanging the money. Gates has his girlfriend, Sonny Landham. He's driving the bus. He shows Gates the money. Gates shoots Luther, kills him on the bus, and then he sees Nick Nolte. And yeah, like you said, like, why? Honestly, let me back up. You had to have set this up. You know what I'm saying? You had to have set this up. You know how this dude is.
Yeah.
I understand you got your girl. But you gotta be like, look, let's set this up. I'm gonna set the bag down, such and such a place, in a public place or whatever. You leave my girl there. You take the bag, leave the girl, and that's it.
Yeah.
The way he did it, he got smoked. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Whatever. These people
got smoked in front of his girl.
Right. Right.
Like
no
he didn't
point.
know what was gonna happen. I don't understand it.
Right. They had no reason to keep you alive. None. He's an escaped convict. You just an easy way
Bang.
to find him. Right. But yeah, they get a little shootout with the bus and a car chase, bus chase, and Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy end up crashing into a window in a building. And this is a funny scene. This is a funny scene with the chief. Right after that, Frank McCrae.
Yeah.
Plays Chief Hayden.
Right.
Hey, bruh, like you said, I was dying laughing at this scene. And I wish I could play it. I'll put a clip in, but I wish I could play the whole scene without copyright struck.
You goddamn Winston McCop, you lost the stolen box, and you blow it for a lousy nigga convict. That's right, I call him a nigga. You better idea.
That shit is hilarious. Just because they both look like, you know how your mom used to catch you doing something back in the day, like you and your sibling or something like that, and y'all both got caught and y'all both just look looking stupid, oh, here she go. Oh, Lord. That's how they look listening to him.
Yeah.
Anyone with shit they could say until
right.
until Nick Nolte got fed up, man. Until he got fed up, it was look now. Well, by then it was too late. Chief was already in their ass.
Yeah, he's already done.
Right.
Hey man, don't you think you would be a little hard on you, convict? Yeah. And his look, man, he just
yeah.
Funny boy.
Gotta love it. Anytime I see that dude in the movie, man, I love it.
Can't help but remember that part.
Yeah, that was one of the funniest parts of the movie, for real. Yeah, and so at this point, Eddie Murphy is his 48 hours is running out. Reggie Hammond, his 48 hours is running out.
Yeah,
and
he about done.
He still wants some trim, but Nick Nolte's like, look, man, let's go. I get you a drink. Go outside. He's got Reggie's old car, got it nice and cleaned up and everything. I didn't know it was that color the first time we saw it.
Yeah,
he's like,
it looks great.
Right. Let's go get a drink. And while he's talking to him, he had got the info from his buddy. And like I said, it had been so long since I've seen this movie. I forgot his buddy, Kehoe, wasn't a bad guy. Yeah, because that dude always plays a bad guy. He always plays a dirty cop or some kind of bad guy.
Byron James was the guy's name.
Yeah.
Always plays a villain. Always plays a villain. Yep.
And it had been so long, I was like, is this dude a bad guy? I'm like, nah, he ain't working with the bad guys. Nah.
Yeah, but because you see him in so many bad guy roles.
Right.
You automatically
but he had got info from him that that bus had they found that bus in Chinatown. And this is back where they were earlier, where the bad guy's girlfriends were. So basically Nick Nolte's like, he had a hunch, and he's telling Eddie Murphy, like, look, we go back to Chinatown, it might be a long shot or whatever. Eddie Murphy's like, man, I thought you said I had to get back. I only got, I'm running out of time. He's like, well, we could just go and give it a shot, or I could take you back to jail. He was like, all right, well, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go. Shit.
Right.
And the hunch was right. They go back to the chick's crib, and first of all, Nick Nolte. I don't know if we really spoke enough about how much of an asshole he is in this movie, but the way he manhandles that chick. You don't know if them people up there. He got her by the throat, gun in her face.
Yeah, man.
You should be kicked off the department. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What the fuck is he doing? But anyway, the hunch was right. Bad guys upstairs, man, and Sonny Landham's character, Billy Bear, that was his name. We forget that Sonny Landham wasn't a small dude. He was a big guy. He was pretty tall, and in this movie, he was in shape. He was in better shape than he was in Predator. So when Eddie Murphy goes upstairs and he opens the door and Billy Bear's sitting there, he stands up and he's like, "Look, man," and his hand's shaking. He wants to shoot him, but his hand's shaking. And Sonny Landham does that laugh. He pulls a knife out, and I think he just repeated the same scene in Predator, honestly. And hell, he did the same thing in Action Jackson. Pulled out a knife, he laughed. But Eddie's like, "Look, man, you ain't gonna make it." And he lunges at him, and Eddie Murphy puts 2 in his chest, and that's the end of him. And then a foot chase ensues with the last bad guy, Reamer's character. Man, what Gates? That was his name. He's being chased, and this scene is actually kind of confusing the way it's edited, because like I'm not sure where they are. Like I know they like went downstairs and like in the alley or whatever, but like just I don't know the way it's edited. It's just kind of hard to keep up with where they actually are, like where Nick Nolte is in comparison to where Eddie Murphy is.
Right.
You don't know how close or far away they are from each other. And Nick Nolte is shooting back at Gates. And he's getting shot at. But anyway, Gates basically gets the drop on Eddie Murphy, and he's got him at gunpoint. And at this point, I don't even know why he's talking to him, because he had nothing to say. Like, he already had his money.
Yeah.
There was no reason to not smoke Eddie Murphy's character right there. None. Right. There was no reason for him to even speak to him. You're shooting at the cop, but you're gonna stop and talk to Eddie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It didn't make any sense. But anyway, he spoke to him long enough for Nick Nolte to show up. Classic movie standoff. Guys got somebody in a headlock and a gun, and like, you're not gonna shoot me, and shit, I ain't.
Yeah, right.
Plugged him, hit him right in the shoulder. He gets back up, and then he drops a few more rounds in him, and that's the end of Gates. What I wanted to ask you, man, is like, what I wanted to ask you is like, the way the movie is. Were you satisfied with that ending, the way it went down? Yeah,
because I mean, first of all, like, it seems like these '80s films, some of them had that same ending with the mist fog filled with the neon lights. I love that, man. That is a classic '80s trope right there, man. If any film that does it, you're paying homage to the '80s. And again, you got this one lucky shot to take, and because everything was on the line, Nick, saw the other guy die in the hotel, so he wasn't going to let the same shit happen. I think that the bad guy, Gates took Reggie so that he could really humiliate Jack before he killed him. I'm going to do this to you again, just like I did at the hotel, punk. That's where that came from. So yeah, he could have smoked him. I would have smoked him, took the money, and I'm out. They would have still been looking for me. But because he wanted to humiliate, him so bad, I'm gonna make you live this again before I smoke your ass. Yeah. That's why he took Reggie, I think. But was it satisfying? I didn't like the whole running with the gun shit and getting shot 500 times. But they got to have a dramatic ending for the villain. But I thought that was just it was extra. Didn't need that. You just smoke him and be done.
Yeah.
Just a little bit too much at the end. Yeah.
I agree. I do. I like it and dislike it. The only thing I dislike about it is like just how it gets set up with him. Having Eddie Murphy or whatever. He could have just smoked, like you said, he could have just smoked Eddie Murphy and bounced. He had the money, whatever.
Done.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
But as classic '80s trope, bad guy gets it in the end. There's two ways this happens, right? There's two ways this happens. Either, he gets shot and then he's stumbling, he's hurt, he's weak, and he's running at the good guy, and the good guy drops him, right? Or the good guy drops him, and everyone thinks it's okay, and he reaches for a gun in his back or on his ankle or on the ground, and he got to pull somebody away, move, and then blast a guy. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Right. It's always like that. But I don't mind. And this movie came out early enough in the '80s where that wasn't tired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Right. It was still, you could still do it a few more times before now.
Right. If you look at it in context of when it came out, like this movie was fresh because it was like this really set off the buddy cop genre, And I think we had talked that like there have been like buddy action movies, right? And even maybe kind of buddy cop movies,
right?
But not like this. It had like a little comedy in it. Had really good action, really good score, really good direction, and it set that like that baseline formula for everyone else to build off of. Yep. Do you think so?
Exactly, exactly. You said that similar. You said something similar to that when we were talking about the other films, Commando and the other action films. It just, it might have not been the first, but it was the perfection of that formula. And this,
Right.
basically made the way for all the other films like the Tango and Cashes and the Rush Hours and Lethal Weapons and Miami Vice, and just the list goes on.
Yeah.
So it just perfected the formula. This perfected the formula, like you said.
I
Definitely,
also think that
definitely.
like this movie was like every once in a while, so you can have like a pretty decent, whether it be like a plot or just like an idea, like a pitch for a movie, right?
Yeah,
This one, I think, man, they really he really nailed it. Like whoever was listening to the pitch for this movie was like, you know what, that
mhm,
might be a good idea. Let's do it. Let's get this
yeah,
comedian who's this up and coming comedian from Saturday Night Live,
yeah,
and it's like we'll get like a big, good looking but kind of grizzled detective to play like the
yeah.
straight man, basically, and
Right.
and let's see what we can do. The other thing that we spoke about though is that like what is this movie actually about?
Mm,
Because
yeah,
the more we dig into it, the more you dig into it, like the plot, it's thin. It's thin.
yeah,
The motive. Some characters have motivation. Like Nick Nolte probably has the most motivation in this movie
right,
because
right.
he saw like some fellow officers get killed, even though one was his fault, like we already said. Um, but like they don't really spell out like what Eddie Murphy's motivation is to even help
Nah,
and what
you really
right.
don't find out. Yeah. If they do
Yeah.
mention it, I didn't hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like why Sonny Landham's character is like so involved, unless he just knew he was going to be getting the money, like part of the money. But like you working with this dude,
Right.
you really feel like he was going to split this money with you evenly, fairly? I don't know. Maybe he was. Who knows?
Dude was
Maybe you know
shady.
more than we do. Right. You don't get too much about his motivation. You don't really understand too much about like Gates's motivation. Like he escapes, but he only had like 3 more years. Like he escaped, killed the officers, and Eddie Murphy mentioned that like, yeah, when he got out, Gates would still have like another 3 years. So I'm
Right, right.
like, bro, 3 years was worth all this killing you did. If they said, yeah, he had 75 years to serve or some shit,
Right,
a
right.
life sentence or a death sentence or something like that. He wouldn't be on a chain gang if he had a death sentence, but like he had like big numbers. He had big numbers to do. Then like, okay, all right, I get it. He'd be like, I ain't got nothing to lose. But you only had to do three
Right, right.
years. That's a gun charge. Like, what are you talking about?
It's weird. It's weird.
Right. The
Yep.
motivations don't make any sense.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, on that note, I guess other movies, like if this movie laid the foundation, you know, Lethal Weapon perfected it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right.
a, a plot, like an actual plot. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with this. You got
right.
you have any insight or any ideas or anything about this movie you want to talk about?
Well, I just want to bring up the aesthetics. As far as like San Francisco, 1980s.
Yeah,
You know, all the Club Roman stuff was all my favorite, man. I mean, you had the Bus
right.
Boys in there. The Bus Boys were the band that made a lot of like memorable songs for different films. I mean, this film,
Right.
they had New Shoes. They had The Boys Are Back in Town. I think they used that during
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters. They did some of the stuff on the Ghostbusters soundtrack as well. So this pretty much put the Bus Boys on the map. Also wanted to point out that I think in that during that Club Roman scene, the young lady Ula that played opposite Michael Jackson in the Thriller video, she had a small
Mm-hmm.
cameo in there. She was involved in like she was either on stage or she was in the crowd dancing. So her character, she was
Right.
in there. I guess maybe that helped her get the stuff with Michael. But it's just that whole Club Romans thing really just was like a really nice, like 80s juke joint feel to it, man. I love that. I love everything
Right.
about that club. I like that club, and of course, I like the place. What's the name of the place that was in Pulp Fiction that Travolta
Oh,
and
I don't
Uma
remember.
Thurman was
Yeah, I don't remember
dancing
the
at?
name of it.
Yeah, see
What
stuff
was
like
it
that.
Jack Rabbit Slims or something
Jack
like that?
Rabbit Slims, Jack Rabbit Slims. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You see stuff like that. I love stuff like that in those films, man, because it
Yeah.
really just takes you back to like the whole like foundation of what was '80s back then. Everybody was in there
Right.
jamming and dancing, man. It was
Yeah.
badass. Love that. Love that.
Roadhouse. Roadhouse is another one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
one.
Double Deuce. That was the Double Deuce. Yeah.
Yep.
I gotta talk about
I
Roadhouse one
love
day.
those.
Yeah.
I love those. Yeah, we're gonna do Roadhouse definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, I love those scenes, those club scenes, man. It just really adds to the film and the music. The soundtrack for this was real good. I mean, it's just '80s.
Yeah.
It fit all the music fit. All the music fit for
Yeah.
the scenes and for the film itself. So it was well done.
Well, that's 48 hours, y'all. We took about 48 minutes to talk about it. It's
Yep.
a pretty damn good movie. If
Right.
you haven't seen it, it's a pretty damn good movie. It is the original buddy cop. It is the original good buddy cop movie. You know, this is the OG. And like Alice has said so many times in the past, in our past videos, we got to talk about these movies. You know, we're getting a little older, and younger generation would have no idea what we're talking about. If you mentioned a movie like 48 Hours from 1982, they have no idea. And hey, maybe we're only keeping it alive for us old guys, but hell, you know, maybe a few younger people might see this and be like, hey, I might give that movie a shot. I might want to watch it.
Exactly. Check it out. Check it out.
Might as well. But anyway, thanks again, Alex. As always, you know, we enjoy doing this. Couldn't do it without you.
Anytime.
And,
Anytime.
yeah. Any
Appreciate it.
parting
Appreciate
words
you.
for the viewers?
No, just if you haven't seen this film, enjoy it. You know, enjoy it. Watch it. Enjoy it. It's on. I watched it on Prime. I rented it on Prime. It's a great film, and it really just kind of shows you like the original, like where the whole buddy cop trope originated from. You know, and how it progressed through the years to where we are now. And it's a good time. It's a good time. And please write. Please comment, subscribe. Like this video, and you got any recommendations, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
So we got more content, more things to bring up and talk about.
That's right. Well, thanks again, y'all. Thanks for watching, Alex. I appreciate it. And to everyone watching, peace, and we'll see y'all real soon.
See you on the next one.